Congratulations to you and your colleagues getting this over the finish line last night. Tell us how this went down. You passed the bill Saturday morning without Bob Corker's vote. He voted no.
Well, you know, I love sausage, but I hate to see it made, and that's what we've been doing the last 9 months. But you're right. Saturday morning, just before 2 a.m., we passed a historic tax bill, first one since 1986. And I'm very excited because this is going to be so stimulative for our economy. Our workers are going to become competitive again, Maria. And as you talked in the last hour, capital formation is going to come out of the woodwork to support this economy. So I am extremely pleased that we got this done. We'll go to conference next week. We could have this on the president's desk within 10 days.
So a lot of conversation about this so-called trigger that your colleague, Senator Bob Corker, wanted to put in the bill, whereas if the revenue was not there that you expect from this tax bill, that a trigger would be in place to actually raise taxes. This was massively debated. At the end of the day, it is not in the bill. Talk to us about why you feel comfortable going forward without that trigger here.
Well, first of all, the maligned JCT, the Joint Committee on Tax, and even CBO both say, JCT says you only have to grow 0.2% in the GDP to more than pay for this. And even the CBO says 0.4%. And look, what the president has been doing all year, job one, he said, was growing the economy, roll back regulations, as you've talked repeatedly on your show, go after energy, which we've done, and now reform the tax package. So what we've got is a situation where this economy is going to grow. I have full confidence as a business guy that's lived and worked around the world, Maria, this is going to be so stimulative. The rest of the world woke up Saturday morning and took a deep breath because they were so afraid we weren't going to do this. America is back in business globally, Maria.
Yeah, this is a good positive for sure. A lot of economists are expecting this to increase earnings and help the backdrop for business so that business turns around and invests in R&D and infrastructure and hires new workers. How worried are you that, in fact, the savings that businesses will see will result in those businesses buying back stock or increasing dividends as opposed to actually hiring new workers?
Well, Maria, I come from the school that, you know, all of the above is acceptable. This is capitalism. Capital flow is very important in the generation of jobs and economic growth. And that's what happens, whether it's in dividends or training and what. But the people that I've talked to in positions of power in the business world are saying that, look, we have been in a recession now for over 8 years in some terms. I mean, this is the lowest period of economic growth in our history. What these people have are pent-up needs in terms of job training, worker training, and so forth, capital investment in plant and equipment. And what we're going to find is a lot of the IP is going to come back to our shores, Maria, because of the details of this tax package. But let me iterate this. The benefit to the individuals is not to be ignored. 68% of the tax cuts in this bill go to individuals, such that a family of 4, this is 2 kids and a couple, making a median income of $73,000 are going to get a 60% tax cut. A single mom making $41,000 with a child is going to get a 75% tax cut. And we took 6 million people who pay taxes now will come off the rolls, Maria. Yeah. This is a great day for the middle class.
Let me ask you to compare the Senate bill versus the House bill. Our viewers want to understand better how the final bill might look different from what you guys just passed in the Senate. Talk to us about the differences and how you see this bill looking differently once it gets to the president's desk.
Well, you know, to some degree, Maria, we've passed that Rubicon. In many ways, over the last week, the Senate bill began to move toward the House bill, which is a good thing. In fact, some people are saying that maybe the House could go ahead and vote on the Senate bill. We're not asking them for that yet, but it got so close that I think that's a possibility. Look, this committee, this group that's going to get together and rationalize whatever minor differences are there, will do very quick work this week. So I don't anticipate many changes. We moved in the SALT area, the state and local tax, such that we gave relief to some of the high-cost states. But also, I believe that we have taken out a lot of the differences. So I think this is going to move very quickly.
Is there room to lower rates for some taxpayers here if you make a difference on SALT? The state and local tax deduction being eliminated, obviously, it's a big deal for some of these high-tax states who may very well see higher taxes for some of their constituents. Is there movement that you see happening in the next week that would lower rates for those individuals?
I really don't think so, Maria. I think the majority of people in the country are tired of subsidizing the high-tax states. And why should a couple with 2 children making an income exactly the same for the same couple with the same kids in California, why should the couple in Iowa pay more federal income tax? That's been the case for the last 30 years.
Yeah.
This moves to correct that to some degree.
At the same time, though, you know, your colleagues on the left are calling this warfare. The Washington Post is out with a story today saying this is class warfare. We know that these are talking points from the Democrats. We were expecting this. But there's video that senators, you know, are saying that, look, this is going to take us all the way into 2018. This is going to be our issue. The fact that this is helping the rich and not doing enough for middle-class families. They're going to be singing this song going into the 2018 elections. Are you expecting the House to lose the majority as a result of this talking point?
Maria, this is coming from the same people that taxed 8 million people in 2014 under Obamacare, $2 billion, and half of those folks make less than $25,000. This is such nonsense. They know that what just happened, the 68% of these tax cuts are going to the middle class. What we've got here is a situation where we're making America competitive again with the rest of the world. We're lowering the tax rate to 20%. Asia is already at 18%. Europe is at low 20s, moving to that. UK goes to 17% next year.
Right.
The person that's going to benefit the most from this tax bill, though, is the person that gets a job, Maria.
I agree with you, but look, we know what the left is saying, and I want to ask you about this AMT, because this is also very significant. The Senate bill keeps part of the alternative minimum tax. Why did you do that? And isn't this going to mean that those people that were getting a tax break are no longer getting a tax break, Senator?
Well, for the way we did it, though, for the most part, it's the wealthy that the left is talking about got such a break. We put this back in there primarily to pay for an enrichment of cuts on the individual side. Just in the last 2 weeks, Maria, we took the cuts on the individual side. This is in the middle class now, from the median income and up. We took it up by 20%, from $3 trillion to $3.6 trillion. We cut the tax code for the middle class. So when you look at the math, there is absolutely no support that this is just for the rich. And as a matter of fact, even the repatriation tax that we're talking about, when it comes back in the U.S., the beneficiaries are going to be American workers. It creates a level playing field for the people who work with their hands every day across America.
Yeah. Why was there no movement, Senator, on the carried interest deduction? You know, this is a deduction that obviously high earners use when it becomes real estate individuals, hedge fund managers who are able to show income as capital gains rather than standard income at the top rate. And that's not changed. This deduction is in there.
Well, some of us really wanted to do that. It also affects other industries like energy and so forth. So, you know, when you get in the final hours of a bill like this, you have to decide, are you going to shut this bill down, or are you going to try to get the best you can get? And that's what we've been doing the last week. So this is one that might get some conversation in the conference as well. But again, it was one of those items that in our negotiations, we looked at trying to make all of the chemistry work for all of the industries out there. And this one didn't get put in there somehow. All
right, real quick, final question here. Give us the procedure this next 2 weeks. What does it look like before this bill actually lands on the president's desk?
Well, the House and the Senate both will name a conference committee. They go together and work very quickly to work out any minor differences between the Senate bill and the House bill. It comes back to then the House and the Senate. We vote one more time, and it goes to the president's desk. But to me, this is mostly perfunctory because the Senate bill got so close to the House bill. I don't see a lot of controversy this week. I'm hopeful that we'll see the Senate voting on this again by the end of this coming week, Maria.
All right. Wow, this is exciting time. Senator, good to have you on the program this morning. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Maria.